And these visitors came to their shore. And their visitors were in tall ships. And the Native Americans didn't see them. Could not see the tall ships coming forward, because they were not used to seeing tall ships. You see, that which you are used to seeing, that which is your belief, you keep bringing back to you. Now, this is how RAS comes into it. And RAS is just an acronym for Reticular Activation System. We talked about it. It's that little spot that is in between the two hemispheres of your brain. It's that little space that is somewhat of a filter. You know, when we're living in this daily life, on this daily plane, this worldly plane, we are just bombarded with all kinds of things. We're bombarded with all kinds of information that keeps coming to us. We know this is the information age, and it comes to us quickly. It's that microwavable time. Because all of these things start imploding upon us rapidly. And we cannot hold on to all of them. We don't want to hold on to them. But somehow, what takes place within this RAS system is that it does a little screening out. It kind of filters out some things. And it filters out those things that it kind of identifies as not of importance to you. Reticular Activation System, RAS. It's a wonderful system because it pays attention to the beliefs you have, kind of the socialization you have, of those things that are kind of important to you. Example, when I first came here, I was driving a Maxima, a white Maxima. And I had never heard of a Maxima. But it seemed like everywhere I looked, there was a Maxima, there was a Maxima, there was a Maxima. It was as though they just started coming into my experience. How many times have you guys decided you're going to wear, or get interested in wearing a red shirt? You never paid attention to red, but you said, I'm going to step out of that zone that I usually am in. I'm going to get a red shirt. Well, all of a sudden, you see men wear red shirts every time you look. Well, they got the same style I had. It's that your reticular activation system is saying, they're expanding. So now this is what they're interested in. I'll bring it to them. I'll bring it to them. I'll bring it to them. That's the wonderful way in which it works. You know, in this teaching we say that which goes out comes back. Well, that which we are, that which we think, that which we have, that which we believe in, we send it out. It becomes the evidence of what's going on inside and shows up back to us. If you ever want to check what's happening on the inside of you, look to what you're looking at. See what's facing you. This is the evidence of that which is inside. This RAS has a way of bringing it to you. You're wanting to have a cup of coffee, and you're walking down the street that you always walk down, and all of a sudden you have this need for a cup of coffee. And right to the right is a coffee shop. Well, you've never noticed it before. But it's always been there. You see on the placard, since 1919. But you've never noticed it because you haven't expanded or needed to have it come forward to you. So when we're talking about how these things start to show up, then we've got to look at some of the other applications. You know, the teaching, it sounds a certain way. But now we want to do application of it. And isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? That which we are, science is now giving recognition to it and identifying it for us. So it doesn't sound like airy-fairy stuff. you know, goes around, comes around. We are in a reciprocal universe, and we are sound scientific evidence, even though we know in our heart that's true. But what's showing up is that there's more work being done on how do we get the things that are showing up in our lives. Well, it's one thing to say, how do things get to be the way they are? But here's the part that you play. We can change it. Does that sound familiar? We can change it. And the way we start to change those things we don't want to have show up in our lives is by being very aware of Raz. Raz is there. Raz is always producing. Raz is always helping you to manifest what you want. And it also manifests what you don't want. Because it goes to that belief system you have. And if you're feeling as though you do not deserve that which is in your life experience, Raz will surely be there to help you see that you don't deserve it. By bringing forward those images, those likenesses, those experiences that keep with you, causing your life to be the way it is. It doesn't just work for that which is the good stuff. It also works for those things that are maybe not on the side of the good, as much on the side of the good as you would like them to be. It works for all things in our life experience. It works for those activities of spirit as well. So, this month, the opportunity gets to be for us, because this is a time of holiday seasons. And some of us, with our families, we know what might take place. For some of us, it's a time of stress. For some of it, it is the hairy, scary, never enough time. It is that period of time in our experience that we get a chance to really identify who we are. Because when we are doing our persona and appearing to be one way, the experience comes into our life and we have an opportunity to see that we're not really the way we thought we were. We get a chance. It's not God trying us. As we say that God just keeps trying us to be able to see if we're who we say we are. We know that God only sees us one way. God only sees us as that perfect, whole, and complete individual. So this is our own test we get to do. Identify 3 things that you want to take place this month. During the month of December, you've got the extra pad in your bulletin. We want you to identify 3 things that you would like to see happen in your experience this month. I heard someone mention, and I was still some of this thunder, but someone mentioned the 40 days that, the 40 years that the Israelites were roaming, trying to get to the promised land. But the actual trip only took 3 days. So you could be saying, well, I've been wanting this for the last 5 years. But the actual realization of it maybe just will take 30 days. 30 days of you identifying, clearing up, really